Welcome back, everyone. This weekend, millions of people will be tuning in to Super Bowl 55. And whether you're watching for the competition, for the commercials, or maybe the weekend's big halftime show, it is going to be epic, and you need an epic spread. Here with delicious ideas to elevate your Super Bowl viewing experience, Chef Matt Basile is back. Welcome back, Matt.
Hello. How's it going?
Hi, Matt. It's so good to see you, even though we haven't actually seen each other in a long time. When I talk to you, I do feel seen because you get me. And that's why you prepared a big box of meat for me, a Super Bowl box of meat. What do we have here?
We have a barbecue in a box. Lainey, this was designed for you. I actually did this as a catering at a wedding one year, and everyone just showed up into the backyard and they just got a little cake box. When they opened it up, instead of their cake being cake, it was ribs and brisket and steak. So I've done the exact same thing. I thought, what a great way to have kind of a COVID-friendly Super Bowl party where everyone has their own food contained in a box. And if you don't have a barbecue or a smoker, your oven is just fine, because cooking something at 300 Fahrenheit in your smoker, you know what? Very similar to cooking at 300 in your oven.
Okay, I was going to say Lainey's dying to eat. She's already there. So I will jump in with the question. How do you make these ribs?
So for the ribs, I actually use pork side ribs. I find they're really nice and fatty and meaty and have great flavor to them. What you're going to do is take equal parts salt and pepper and rub it all over the ribs, but combine it with half of that of mustard powder, garlic powder, paprika, and some brown sugar. You're going to get your barbecue or smoker to about 300 Fahrenheit. Place the meat side up, but if you're using a barbecue, use indirect heat, which means no direct flame under the rib, because we don't want it to char yet. Cook it for about 2 hours with the lid closed. And while that's happening, get some tin foil and parchment, place it down, and either get some more barbecue sauce down on that parchment or brown sugar or honey. And then you're going to wrap your ribs. So take the meat side down, wrap it really tight, throw it back in the barbecue. Another 2 hours, so it's nice and tender. You should be able to pick it up and kind of very easily manipulate it, just like this. And then at the end, finish it on the grill. Kiss the grill. Allow those flavors to kind of come through that meat and really tenderize everything, render off that fat, and get some really nice grill marks at the same time.
It's so good. And I would be eating all of it if I didn't want to move on to the wings. I love wings. Do you have any tips for making like wings just right? Because you can easily kind of overdo them. You never know when they are done.
Well, the trick is you have to say the words winner, winner first before you make a chicken wing dinner. I'm a big fan of brining my chicken wings first. And what's great about brining is you're allowing a flavored liquid to kind of penetrate into the wing. So that way, when you do cook it, you're less likely to dry out the meat. I'm also a really big fan of taking your time with chicken wings. See, people see them, they're like, oh, they're small, they'll cook really quickly. But unfortunately, that's actually how you dry them out. So whether you're doing them in the oven or on the barbecue or even in the smoker, I like to start them off at a lower temp, like 275, 300. And then once they're cooked, so you're looking at about 45 minutes in, then you can finish it on the grill or finish it under the broiler. And now you're just rendering off the fat and you're getting them nice and crispy. And then when they come out, salt them immediately. Like, you want to do it while your wings are still hot. That way they grab onto that salt. I actually used homemade lemon salt for you, ladies. It's just, some fanciness there. And you have a very, very, very hot Scotch bonnet
I can
sauce.
taste it.
And yes, and then a mustard barbecue sauce. I wasn't sure if you were into spice. I didn't know this about you.
Definitely into spice. It's so good.
Up next, the meat train continues with some smoked sausage and shaved steak. How did you prepare the steak, Matt?
So what's great about the steak is I'm using something that's called a picanha, otherwise known as a sirloin cap. It's one of the most economical, best bang for buck steaks you can get out there. It's kind of known as a chef cut. In fact, I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble for just telling you about this cut of meat, because it's such a good fat to meat ratio, great marbling on it. And if this is your sirloin butt, it's literally the cap. So it sits right on top. It's one beautiful piece that you can now slow cook, like I did at 300, and then you finish it off with some salt, pepper, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, or some acidity there on the grill, just to kind of get a nice sear going.
I guess it's time to shave it, coach.
You're going to want to slice this against the grain. So essentially, you have one long piece of meat. And if you were to cut lengthwise, you'd be cutting with the grain. So we're going to avoid that by cutting through the steak. So you're going to cut nice small medallions all the way through.
Okay, let me just, I hope you guys can see. Um, oh, can you see? Can you see? Look at it. Is it allowed to just eat it right off the knife?
I mean, it's your
Oh,
knife,
mm,
your rules.
man, not good.
So Lainey's gonna keep cutting. I'm starving, so because I'm just watching the meat eaters here, which is fine, but that's not my jam. But this next one I feel like is going to please meat eaters and non-meat eaters alike. You have got a pull apart cheese bread, which sounds like super easy and like high on flavor. So take us through that.
Well, it's really just four things, but the idea around it is normally when you see this pull apart cheese bread, it's done with these massive sourdough loaves. But what we've done is said, hey, you know what? Let's use a Kaiser roll. That way it can be done individually. You still have a great crusty bread that can
Mm-hmm.
withstand that heat and the melted cheese. So I used a very nice triple cream brie and some shaved aged cheddar, and I mixed it together in a bowl. I gave one slit down the center of the Kaiser, and then I gave it another 3 or 4 slits widthwise, and then I just stuffed all the slits. It's funny, it actually looked like a football when I did it. I was
Yes,
like, oh, this is
that's
interesting.
exactly what
And I
I
was like,
thought. I said, it looks like a football.
I actually made your garlic butter, but you can obviously buy garlic butter. But I roasted some
Mm-hmm.
garlic and I blended it with some butter, and then I added some lemon and some salt to it, and I just brushed the whole Kaiser roll, put it in the oven about 20 minutes around 350, 375. You want it to get nice and crusty but bubbly,
Mm-hmm.
and then I finished it off with some fresh Parmesan cheese right over the top.
To die
How are
for.
those carbs,
To die
Mel?
for. Oh my God, I'm just loving every single calorie of them. Mm.
All right, Mel, you carb up. I'm going to move on to my next menu item. I feel so spoiled today. Matt, my husband Yasik, loves meatloaf. He also loves gorgonzola cheese. So you have made meatloaf muffins. You've thrown in some gorgonzola cheese. And also, you've made this with like chicken, I think?
Yeah, you can loaf any meat, lady. Come on, this is this is science. So we've done a buffalo chicken meatloaf, but what I did was instead of putting it in a traditional meatloaf pan, I just used little muffin tins. That way, I was able to make individual portions. Essentially, I took ground chicken, I seasoned it with some egg, breadcrumbs, some salt, pepper, paprika, a little bit of cayenne, and then I mixed it all together. But then I also cut up some garlic, some onions, some celery, and I cooked that in butter, let it cool. I combined it all together, and then I added a vinegar-based hot sauce. Anything can kind of give you that buffalo flavor. Mixed it all together, and then I started to fill the little muffin holes. But then at the halfway mark, I stuffed it with a little bit of gorgonzola cheese, and then I covered all of them. Put it in the oven, 350, about 15 minutes, pulled it out. Then I had a little extra buffalo sauce on the side that I kind of drizzled over top. And literally, that's just equal parts ketchup, and a little bit of buffalo hot sauce that's vinegar based again. Pull it off heat, add a little bit of apple cider vinegar to it, a little bit of melted butter, mix it together, pour it over the little meatloaf muffins, and then garnish it with some chives and some more blue cheese.
Oh
My
my God, it's a
gosh.
touchdown. It's so good.
Well done. Okay, we're going to move over now to perhaps what might be a staple for some people, and that is shrimp cocktail. But you've really personalized these shrimp cocktails. Tell us about it.
Literally, I just take some boiling water. I add them in for about 5 minutes
Look how big
max.
they are.
When the color brightens,
Wow.
you really know that they're done, because at that point, if you overcook them, they get very mealy and they lose a lot
Yeah.
of that amazing flavor, which really makes me sad. And then the other trick is, as soon as they're done, transfer it to a bowl that's filled with ice water, because that actually stops the cooking. It's a shock. It's an ice bath. Kind of like, in football after practice, they
Mm.
tell you to jump in an ice bath, and it kind of helps
Mm-hmm.
heal your muscles. I love all the analogies today. This is on, like, let's go. So same idea. By moving the shrimp to your ice bath, you've stopped the cooking, and that way they'll stay juicy and ready to go. Little mason jar, because who doesn't love food in mason jars? But that also allows you to customize your dipping sauces. So for example, I gave you two melt. You have kind of
Mm-hmm.
an avocado crema, which is just sour cream and mayo blended with some garlic and some soft avocado, some
So
cilantro,
good.
and some lime juice. And then the other one's my personal favorite. It's a ginger pineapple cocktail sauce. So it's got ketchup in it, but it's also got grilled
Oh, I
pineapple,
want that one
and
There's
then it's
too.
ketchup
got
in
fresh
this?
ginger. Oh yeah, yeah, that's the base. Oh yeah,
I tasted
oh yeah.
pineapple and I tasted ginger, but I didn't realize it. And that is actually, I love both of them, but that's my preference too.
How are your linebacker shrimp, Mel? That thing was like half the size of your face.
No kidding. They're ready. They're ready to play in the Super Bowl themselves. Hey Matt, this was so delicious. So much fun. I want to
Awesome.
thank you for bringing in these amazing recipes, and we are going to put them all up on the website. All of these game day recipes for you and your family to enjoy on the big day. Don't forget that Super Bowl 55 airs this Sunday. That is February the 7th, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on CTV and on RDS. Bon appetit. We'll be right back after this.